Hello children, today I am before you with a poem from our first flight textbook. Do you remember Mrs. Pumphrey and her pet dog Tricky? What was the reason for Tricky's ailment? Mrs. Pumphrey's over-pampering, isn't it? That chapter gave us a lesson that too much of anything is bad for you. Now I have a poem which sounds a similar theme. Amanda, written by Robin Klein. This poem portrays a little girl Amanda who is constantly being nagged by her parents about what to do and what not to do. The poem highlights the upbringing of a small child and the struggles faced by that child. Before moving to a poem, let me introduce you the poet Robin Klein. Robin Klein is an Australian author of books for children. She writes children's and young adult fiction. Some of her famous books are Hating Alison Ashley, People Might Hear You, and Ting. The main character of the poem, Amanda, is of a 13 or 14 years age girl. Usually, children of this age start to think everything in a rebellious way. Whatever things their parents, elders, and teachers say are rejected or neglected by the children of this age. The poem Amanda has a conversational style where only one speaker, her parent, voices her view. The thoughts of the child, which is put in parentheses or brackets, are not uttered. The poem deals with the child psychology as well as lack of insight on the part of elders to understand children's thought process. The frequent interference of her parent makes the little girl Amanda very unhappy. Amanda feels that she is not free to do anything that she wants to do. She wants freedom from all restrictions. Let's move on to the poem. Amanda. Don't bite your nails, Amanda. Don't hunch your shoulders, Amanda. Stop that slouching and sit up straight, Amanda. In this stanza, Amanda is getting instructed by her parent. The mother is pointing out Amanda not to bite her nails because biting nails is considered as a bad habit. Next, she asks her not to hunch her shoulders. Hunch means raise shoulders and bend the top of the body forward. She asks her to sit straight without bending her shoulders. Then she was asked to stop slouching. Slouching means drooping, sitting lazily. Her parent wants her to sit in a right posture. Hello children, do you sit in a right posture now? This is how you should sit at study time. Good. Now we are moving to the second stanza. There's a languid emerald sea, where the sole inhabitant is me, a mermaid, drifting blissfully. The tone of instructions given by her parent is not a friendly one, and that's why it fails to make any sense to Amanda. While she is being scolded by her mother, she imagines herself to be a mermaid in an emerald sea. This is the Emerald Sea. Amanda uses her imagination as an escape point from day-to-day commands of her parent. She finds peace in her own created world because there are no restrictions. Here, she imagines herself to be a joyful mermaid sailing without any confines along the soft waves of the green sea. She sees herself as a mermaid who is alone there and leads life in a very relaxing way. She feels the current of water blissfully. Meanings of some words. Languid means relaxed. Inhabitant, resident. Drifting, carried slowly by the water. Blissfully, happily. Third stanza. Did you finish your homework, Amanda? Did you tidy your room, Amanda? I thought I told you to clean your shoes, Amanda. Next, Amanda's mother is inquiring her about whether she has done her homework or not. And then she asks her whether she has cleaned her room or not. Moreover, she is reminded to clean her shoes. So here we can see that the mother is constantly reminding her about her duties. You might have noticed the usage of an exclamation mark after her name being called. It shows that the parent seems to be losing temper and is getting a bit angry on the irresponsible and insensitive nature of Amanda. I'm an orphan roaming the street. I pattern soft dust with my hushed bare feet. The silence is golden, the freedom is sweet. Amanda is again lost into her own world. When she got a fresh list of instructions from her parent, like doing homework, cleaning room, cleaning shoes and all, she wishes to be away from this daily routine life. Amanda perceives her or imagines herself as an orphan, roaming on the streets, moving aimlessly without any purpose. This means she imagines if she would have been without parents, she would have walked freely in the streets. She would have drawn patterns, that means designs, on the soft dust with her bare feet. Bare feet means uncovered feet, very quietly. Here we can see that she thinks opposite of her parent, opposite of her mother. Her mother or her parent wants her to keep everything neat and clean, but Amanda wants to play in the dust with her bare feet. Moreover, she is so fed up of these constant instructions from her mother, which makes her say, silence is golden and freedom is sweet. Amanda yearns for freedom and peace in her life. Her parent wants her to be a well-mannered, obedient child who follows the code of conduct of good behavior. But she feels that she is oppressed by her parent, which made her as a girl who loves silence and thinks that silence is precious. Next, don't eat that chocolate, Amanda. Remember your acne, Amanda. Will you please look at me when I'm speaking to you, Amanda? Next, Amanda's mother is prohibiting her eating of chocolates. She reminds her of the pimples or acne that Amanda faces due to eating chocolates. Amanda is still lost in her own thoughts and doesn't care her mother at all. This carelessness angers her parent, and her parent asks her to look at them while they speak to her. Look at the next stanza. I'm Rapunzel. I have not a care. Life in a tower is tranquil and rare. I certainly ne'er let down my bright hair. Now, Amanda thinks of being Rapunzel, a character from a fairy tale, and wants to live in a huge tower like this Rapunzel. In that tower, she'll be alone and will live a peaceful life and will never allow anyone to come in. Amanda says that she will never let her hair down. She wants to live alone, as the presence of anybody else will be a disturbance for her. Amanda wanted to live free and happy. Rapunzel.
Hi. Welcome home, Mother.
Stop that sulking at once, Amanda. You're always so moody, Amanda. Anyone would think that I nagged at you, Amanda. The parent keep on instructing Amanda on the do's and don'ts, but Amanda remains lost in her own dreams. The parent thinks that Amanda is not reacting because she is annoyed. Her insensitive behavior made her parent look bad and they get worried about her. They are concerned about how society will judge the parents if their child always remain moody. At this time, the poet has not written any reactions from Amanda's side. This constant nagging has made her much depressed, so that she has even stopped to imagine herself as someone else. So, this poem expresses the state of a little girl's mind who is constantly instructed about the do's and don'ts by her mother. The girl named Amanda and her mother or her parent who is irritating her for mistakes. Her mother used to give instructions not to hunch her shoulders and to sit up straight. Her mother reminds her to finish her homework. The little girl Amanda keeps dreaming about freedom of life in the open world. Her mother also feels that she is sitting in a very lazy manner. To this, Amanda imagines herself as a mermaid swimming freely and joyously in the emerald sea. She wants to live a calm and relaxing life in the beautiful green sea. Further, her mother drags Amanda out of her dreams by asking whether she cleans her room and shoes or not. Amanda has another daydream in which she imagines herself as an orphan wandering freely, barefoot in golden silence and uninterrupted freedom. She utters that she would have enjoyed her freedom then by making the patterns of her bare feet on the sand. She would live a peaceful life. Her mother's nagging complaints break her daydream. The mother forbade Amanda not to eat chocolates because of her acne and pimples, and she also gets angry on her for not looking at her while she is talking to her. Amanda is enjoying another dream that now she fantasies herself as Rapunzel, a character from a fairy tale, and wants to live like her in a huge tower peacefully. She dreams that she will never let down her beautiful hair from the tower like Rapunzel. In the tower, she will live a lonely and peaceful life. She will never allow anyone to come to the tower. Finally, the mother forbids her for being moody because she doesn't want anyone to make her feel guilty that she is harassing her daughter. At this time, the poet has not written any response from Amanda's side. This constant nagging has made her so upset that she has even stopped dreaming of herself as someone else. She always tries this only in order to escape from the continuous harassment and dominance of her parents. Many of the parents are over possessive about their children. They want to inculcate good habits in their child, but no child learns all in one day. Children need freedom, like Amanda. But parents who are judging their child every time would do more harm than good. She is continuously scolding Amanda every time in this poem, isn't it? We witness miserable failure of parents when Amanda wishes to be an orphan so that she could be free. Thus, the poem teaches us that a child should never be denied of his or her freedom. This poem highlights the struggle faced by a child within himself or herself. The children should not be forced to take a wrong step by their parents. Children need to be given freedom, more freedom. Excessive nagging may make them disobedient, and hence they may develop a type of dislike for real life. So that's all. I'll read the poem once again. Don't bite your nails, Amanda. Don't hunch your shoulders, Amanda. Stop that slouching and sit up straight, Amanda. There's a languid emerald sea where the sole inhabitant is me, a mermaid, drifting blissfully. Did you finish your homework, Amanda? Did you tidy your room, Amanda? I thought I told you to clean your shoes, Amanda. I'm an orphan, roaming the street. I pattern soft dust with my hushed bare feet. The silence is golden, the freedom is sweet. Don't eat that chocolate, Amanda. Remember your acne, Amanda. Will you please look at me when I'm speaking to you, Amanda? I'm Rapunzel. I have not a care. Life in a tower is tranquil and rare. I'll certainly never let down my bright hair. Stop that sulking at once, Amanda. You are always so moody, Amanda. Anyone would think that I nagged at you, Amanda. So, children, I believe that you understood the poem very well. Read the poem once again, and if you have any doubts, please contact me. Now we can look at the poetic devices used in the poem Amanda. First one, metaphor. It is a figure of speech in which a word or phrase is applied to an object or action to which it is not literally applicable. In the poem, Amanda imagines herself as mermaid and Rapunzel. Really, she is not, but she imagines that she is like or she is a mermaid or a Rapunzel. Next, repetition. It is a literary device in which a word or phrase is repeated 2 or more times. In the poem, words like Amanda, don't, etc. are repeated again and again for the poetic effect. Alliteration. It is the occurrence of the same letter or sound at the beginning of adjacent or closely connected words. Example, stop that slouching and sit up straight. The S sound is repeated. Next, did you tidy your room? The D sound is repeated here. Next is allusion. It is a literary device in which the writer or speaker refers either directly or indirectly to a person, event or thing in history or to a work of art or literature. In the poem, Amanda imagines herself to be mythological characters like mermaid and Rapunzel. So, these are the poetic devices used in this poem. Thank you.